Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. You know, one of boxing's open secrets once again revealed itself this morning when, with the boxing world looking at Cincinnati for the 130-pound championship between 130-pound champion Adrien Broner and challenger Vicente Escobedo. Broner, a day after missing weight at 130 pounds, could not come in under 140 pounds. Think about that. Broner weighed 143 pounds this morning. The fight is off. Let me just say, if I'm Escobedo, he made the right call, right? Weight classes matter. You can't allow a guy to come in weighing 10 pounds more than you. Let me just say, if Broner had a problem making 143 pounds for a fight to defend his 130-pound championship, you could only imagine what he would weigh at the time of the fight. In other words, don't kid yourself. Broner, I'm sure, was doing whatever he could to make weight this morning. And still, he was way off. Missing weight by 3 pounds in boxing is a big miss. Let me just say, too, that there are two schools of thought. One is Floyd Mayweather's school, right? This is the school that I recommended years ago in How to Bet on Boxing, which is available online, right? And that is that the fighter always be at weight, right? Let's call this the Floyd Mayweather Bernard Hopkins school, where the fighter is at weight, walks around very close to his fighting weight, and can spend his training camp working on skills, studying his opponent, working on strategy, as opposed to hitting the sauna, wearing the sweatsuit, losing the pounds. Right now, boxing right now is dangerous. There's an optical illusion going on where we're supposed to believe that Mayweather is the champion at 154 pounds, right? And Mayweather, a great fighter, doesn't even walk around at 154 pounds, right? This is a guy who is really fighting at 150. He's 150, his opponent's 154. It's just that Mayweather's skill level offsets his weight disadvantage, right? We're supposed to believe that Mayweather, the 154-pound champion, you remember he beat 154-pound champion Miguel Cotto, is a much bigger man than Adrien Broner, who has a title 24 pounds below 154, right? Broner's title was at 130 pounds. This is the division below lightweight. That's how they're selling it. So, of course, to casual fans, you think of Broner, you think of Mayweather, and you think, well, Broner's the smaller guy. He's the lighter champion. Broner isn't Mayweather's size. When in actuality, much like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is bigger than some light heavyweights. Adrien Broner is really the same size, if not perhaps a bit bigger, and I mean weight-wise, not height-wise, than Floyd Mayweather. I mean, if he couldn't come in 13 pounds if he couldn't come in 10 pounds above his weight class, knowing that a televised fight in which he was scheduled to make $300,000 hung in the balance, then you can imagine, had Broner continued to hydrate, he easily would have weighed above 147. He easily would have weighed around the 150 that Mayweather weighed when he fought Miguel Cotto. I believe Mayweather came in at, officially weighed in at something like 151. People in his camp say he lost weight after the weigh-in, right? And so all I can say is, I know Broner's in his early 20s, but he needs to solve this, because sooner or later the weight yo-yoing catches up with the best of them, right? Think Ricky Hatton. When you're in your mid-20s like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., or you're in your early 20s like Adrien Broner, you might be able to get away with weight swings. And obviously Broner is having a problem doing even that now, right? But that doesn't work when you're in your 30s. You know, I saw a great fighter, Roberto Duran, literally derail his own career by having fluctuating weight late in his career, right? Some fights he was Roberto Duran. Other fights he was a weight-drained guy in Roberto Duran's body without reflexes. Let me point out, too, that the guys who yo-yo a lot in weight, they rarely have the stamina of opponents who are legitimately in shape, right? And so let me just say that I applaud the Escobedo group for having the backbone to back away from this fight. Escobedo shouldn't be fighting a guy who, at the time of the fight, would have outweighed him by several pounds in a manner that, quite frankly, is shocking, right? You know, at least Chavez Jr. somehow is able to make weight at the weigh-in, right? But fans need to realize what a high wire act it is. And let me say, sadly, you know, this was going to be Broner's last fight at 130 pounds, right? Broner understood that he couldn't make the weight any longer. And so we're not going to see Escobedo against Broner anytime soon, because Broner can no longer make the weight. Why Broner falls into that category of fighters, we'll call it the Brandon Rios category, the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. category, the Johan Guzman category, a fighter who has been fighting at an artificially low weight that he simply cannot continue to make. Now, we've heard a lot about Adrien Broner being the next Mayweather. You know, if Adrien Broner wants to take a chance to vastly improve his standing in the sport, if he wants a rendezvous with destiny, if he wants to test himself in a way where if he's credible in the ring, fan recognition will skyrocket, whether he wins the fight or not. Let me make a suggestion, right? I already have Broner on my top pound-for-pound list at Dwyer, top10boxing.blogspot.com. If you're the same size as Floyd Mayweather, if you believe you are the future Floyd Mayweather, why don't you stop playing games? Call out Floyd Mayweather. Let's have the kind of fight that Manny Pacquiao had against Oscar De La Hoya, right? I would come out to the public and I would say, you know what? I'm not a 130-pounder. I'll take the chance. I'll fight Floyd. In your heart, Broner, you know you walk around at probably 147 to 155 pounds anyway, right? Let me go one step further. Does fighting for the title even matter? If some alphabet soup title sanctioning body doesn't want to recognize you as a top 10 contender since you haven't been fighting at that weight, why not still fight Floyd Mayweather? Right? The real championship is actually the People's Championship. You beat Floyd Mayweather. If you become the first man to beat Floyd Mayweather, that's going to put you in a different chapter in the history books. And if you take a chance on the biggest fish in the lake, and if you come up short, as long as you're credible, people will remember the fight, right? Sometimes you win by losing, right? Many of us believe that Thomas Hearns' best moment in his entire career was the first round of Hagler-Hearns, when middleweight champion Marvin Hagler came forward and Thomas Hearns, who presumably was the lighter guy, stepped forward and actually duked it out with a dominant middleweight champion before getting stopped in the third round. Your fight against Floyd Mayweather would probably play out a bit differently because both of you guys are very defensive fighters. But if you're an elite, if you're truly an elite, given the guys who weigh 140 to 154, given the big names, the historical names in those weight classes, right? Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, the winner of Robert Guerrero versus Selçuk Aydin, right? Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto. Given those names, Jose Cito Lopez, right? Given those names, why not enter the neighborhood? Why not use this as an opportunity to enter the neighborhood? Because the alternative, trying to convince us that you could make 135, trying to convince us that you could make 140, which you couldn't make this morning, right? The alternative might actually hurt you in the ring. I'd rather see a fed Adrien Broner with no alibi in the ring who can make weight comfortably as opposed to a dehydrated Adrien Broner who might have the superior skill set but who, like Roberto Duran, isn't himself on fight day. Let me know what you think. Let's hope that the sanctioning body does the right thing here and awards Escobedo the title because he did everything possible to get it, right? He shows up on weight. He's reasonable with the post weigh-in to allow Broner to fight. All Broner had to do was come in within 10 pounds of the weight limit for his own title, right? Escobedo deserves the title right now. Let's hope the sanctioning body insists on him getting it. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Let me say this too, and I don't say lightly. Don't assume that if Broner gains weight to 135 pounds, that makes him the best lightweight. It might not. Right? One of boxing's more underrated champions is Miguel Vasquez. Miguel Vasquez has one of boxing's best jabs. It's the kind of jab that would give a low volume guy, a guy who depends on accuracy over volume and defense. It's the kind of jab that would give Broner nightmares. If I'm the Broner people, I really have to ask myself, if my chances of beating Miguel Vasquez at 135 pounds are iffy at best. And if I can't even make 140, given that an HBO fight hangs in the balance, then what am I doing at 135 pounds? I think Broner needs to think about that. There is a guy at 140 wearing multiple belts that the public knows about. That would be a dramatic fight for Broner if he doesn't want to jump all the way up to Floyd Mayweather level, and that's Danny Garcia. Broner, I hope you challenge yourself. If you want your name in the chapter of best ever, then you need to take a chance to actually fight at your actual weight. Look where it's gotten Mayweather and Bernard Hopkins. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for us here online. Visit us at DwyerBoxingGame.com, where we talk about outside the ring issues. Let me just say, sadly, I was expecting to talk about what happened in the ring in this fight. Since the fight's been canceled, now it's an outside the ring issue. Thanks for watching.